What's up, everyone? This is the tournament recap video for Kissimmee chain. I was really looking forward to this tournament. I do well in Florida, and the one thing that I haven't experienced in Florida is a cold front. Cold front hit for this tournament. I had a great practice. They were on a solid warming trend, and practice was awesome. There's big fish everywhere. I focused on Kissimmee all 3 days of practice, which I think was my mistake in this tournament. I should have been in Toho. Not that the tournament was won in Toho, but Toho just has deeper water, and I think they're less affected by that cold front, where Kissimmee's really shallow. That's a lesson that I learned, and hopefully we'll remember that the next time we go there. But in practice, I found 3 areas that seem to be holding those better than average fish with some giants mixed in, and that bite just died. It was shallow, the water cooled off a lot, and we all have heard about cold fronts in Florida bass, and I found out that it's very true. But I had 3 deals going during the tournament. Most of my fish came on a chatterbait. I was throwing this basically in any little ditch or gap in the Kissimmee grass, lily pads, along those edges. If I could get it through the lily pads, if they were spread out enough, I was throwing that in there. All my bigger fish in practice came on this. And I had one area where I really thought I could just get a limit really quick, and that area got really muddy, and it cleaned up in like the last couple hours of day 2, and I think I slid in there a little bit too late. There's a couple other guys in there, Kyle Cortiana, and a few other guys, and they're like, man, we haven't seen this many fish caught all week, and that area finally cleaned up from that north wind, and the bite turned back on in there, and there was like an 8-something caught in there at the end of the day on day 2. And I went in there, and I caught, I don't know, 15-20 fish in there, and I caught all those. This was kind of my limit bait, but it was just a Kitech on a little 1/8 ounce underspin, and I was throwing that around, and I could pretty much get bit anywhere in the pads on this. I went through the pads really nice, and I couldn't get any big bites on it, but it was a good limit bait, and luckily that area turned on day 2, because I think I went in there with like 1 or 2 fish and had an hour and a half to kill, and that saved me. And the one other thing, I caught at 8 in practice. I found the one hyacinth mat in the entire chain, and I was flipping a 1.5 ounce creature hog. I went in there, and I think I caught 1 short fish on day 1, and my biggest fish on day 2, which still was only like a 2.5, flipping that mat. So that didn't really work out like I hoped it would. My setup on the chatterbait was I was throwing that on 20-pound Seaguar Invisex, and on my favorite chatterbait rod. I'm a chatterbait guy, and I've tried every rod there is, and this Dobbins DC, it's a Champion XP. It's a 736, but it's a glass rod, and this thing is I got a handful of them, and the only thing that goes on these rods is chatterbaits, and it's an awesome chatterbait rod. And I had that on a Revo STX 6/6 and that was my setup for that. My setup for the underspin, I had that on 65-pound X5 braid, and on a Revo X, and that was a 7:3 to 1 gear ratio. And I had that on a Dobbins Champion XP 735. This is an awesome do anything in thick stuff rod. I love this rod for this. I mean, I threw a speed worm a little bit in this tournament, and I threw that on a 735. It's a great rod. And then my punching setup was on a Champion XP 805 flip. This is a bad to bone rod. It's my powerhouse. I went to Apopka for 2 days, and I boat flipped a 9, I think it was a 912 with this thing. This rod's a beast. I had that on 65-pound Berkeley X5 with a Revo SX Rocket. That was my setup. Those are the rods I used this week at Kissimmee, and make sure you guys all check them out. They're awesome setups, and all the companies that sponsor me are great companies, and I would be using this stuff even if they didn't sponsor me. So make sure you guys check them out. Supporting them is supporting me. And we learned some lessons this week, and hopefully next time we go there we can have a better tournament. Like I said, I really like Florida, and it's always been good to me, but this week just didn't work out. We're headed to Lake Hartwell, down at Clark's Hill right now, hanging out for the week, and we're gonna go catch some bass over here and then head to Hartwell, and hopefully that one turns out a lot better. I'm looking forward to it. Never been to Hartwell, but it should be a fun tournament. There's a lot of bass in there, and there's a lot of history on that lake, so I'm looking forward to going there. Make sure you guys all like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you at the next one.